Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecca Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 112. So let's just get right into it. We'll kick things off with week in review. This is where I talk about what's been going on this week, things that are coming up, stuff like that. And I guess first off, we've had a few absences this week. We had someone out for a planned appointment and an illness. So packing orders from the weekend with the restock and the sale and everything like that, we did pretty good, but a little behind earlier in the week. I think we should be caught up today by the end of the day. So that's good. It didn't affect us as bad as it could have, but in case anyone was wondering if they felt like their order took an extra day, that was why, because we had somebody out sick. I guess second up, we got our second furnace in yesterday, and to my surprise, one of the guys came back this morning, is working on it. So if you hear in the background any maintenance sounds like that, that's what's going on. Finishing that up, but it's good. It's been really cold the last few days. The warehouse wasn't evenly heated with the one furnace, and so the back of the warehouse got really cold. You had like a dividing line that you would feel as you walked through the warehouse, and you could basically tell that where that cutoff was. And for the most part, I don't think it was too bad if you were actively working, if you're picking orders and you're up on your feet and you're moving. It wasn't so cold that you were dying, but if you had to stand in one place for a while, say you're checking in stuff or something, you're not really moving as much, I could totally see where that would be uncomfortable. And even the front of the warehouse gets a little cold in the office too. It's been unfortunate. I kind of hate the cold, and I'm looking forward to the summer already. On that same note, since we're talking about it being cold, we're supposed to get some crazy winter weather, big snowstorm or something on Friday. So I'll be making a call later in the day today. I'm not really sure what we're going to do, if we're going to try closing the warehouse or if we're going to try to have people come in. So just be aware that orders this weekend might take a little bit longer if we do end up closing on Friday. A lot of since the move, a lot of our team has a longer commute than they had before. And if we're supposed to get, 4 to 8 inches or something like that, mixed with rain or something like that, it's going to make for a horrible commute. And I don't want anybody in danger trying to get into the warehouse if we're getting that much snow over the course of the day. All right, next up, a really big one. So we should have that big early bird shipment. We just posted on incoming without a date, but they are now definitely packing it. There's nothing holding them back from packing it, so it should be on the way. Hopefully it'll only take them a week or two to get it packed and shipped, and then maybe another week to get here. So right now we're looking at best case, maybe very end of December, worst case, more like the first week or two of January. Fingers crossed. Sometimes that stuff can be unpredictable, especially with the holidays. I don't know what that does to their staffing, what that does to shipping and stuff like that, but we're expecting that. I'm also expecting to get word later today on if the aerials and Ilfrith and all that kind of stuff are ready to start shipping as well. We've definitely been behind on that. A lot of our competitors, a lot of other shops have received them already, which is very frustrating for me, but there's not much I can do about that, unfortunately. But I should have word about that. If I did get word, we'll hopefully have posted something on here or cut in to say what's going on with that as we get the update for that. But I won't know until they're in this morning on the West Coast. And I guess on that same note, since we have that huge shipment coming in, I should talk about space. Space in the warehouse has definitely still been an issue. We've been doing things like the daily deals. We've been running some sales like the big overstock sale we had last weekend to try to make some more space. Space is definitely still an issue though. We've got just a ton of stuff in here. Everything that we've been doing has been helping to reduce the total inventory. We're probably going to be spending time either today or over the next week or so trying to condense as much as we can and take advantage of holes that have opened up on pallets or up on the shelves for excess inventory and the like to make room. And hopefully we'll be able to make enough space for the maybe 20 or so pallets that's represented by that next huge shipment. Second to last thing to talk about here is the charity stream. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, we do a live stream every Saturday night. 8:30 to 10:30 Eastern. And usually we're giving away something and working on something. In the last few years, somewhere around the holidays, I've done a charity stream. The first year we did it for charity water, and then the last 2 years we did a charity stream for Shriners Hospitals for Children. We had an incident the first time we had that stream where my son burned both of his hands on a propane fireplace. It was horrific. It was traumatic for me. And thankfully, he had a full recovery thanks to the help of Shriners Hospitals for Children. And so as a result of that whole experience, I decided to make the charity stream about raising money for them, because they provide care for kids for things like burns, some orthopedic stuff, and et cetera. But they do it, free of charge. They don't charge, or they don't require payment from their patients in order to get that treatment. And so it's an incredible service, and they help a ton of kids. And so this year we'll be doing the same thing. We're going to be trying to raise $10,000. We're going to have the stream on Monday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. I think a lot of people have the day off. We'll be closed here at the warehouse that day, and it'll be a good day for that stream. I don't know what I'm building yet. I don't know all the details. I think we'll probably be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern and probably trying to run for about 12 hours straight. And hopefully I'll have more details over the next week or so. I gotta carve out the time to make plans for how that's going to go. And finally, last thing, we are having another sale this weekend. This weekend, we're going to do a Koto sale. We've got a ton of different Koto kits in stock. I think last count, we have over 130 unique Koto SKUs on the shelf. And so you can use code KOTO10, KOTO10, to save 10%. If you haven't looked into Koto stuff, definitely take a look. They've got some excellent kits, Zoids, and some kits for things that Bandai doesn't cover, for example, and it's definitely worth taking a look. The Koto kit I've built was great. The Zoid I built earlier this year, so it's definitely worth taking a look at that stuff. All right, next up, let's do pre-orders. Before I jump into the new pre-orders, though, I got two pre-orders I want to talk about. The Heirloom Ilfrith, they should be hopefully coming soon. I'll hopefully have that update edited into earlier in this video to know that they are on the way. Nick from the future here. So I just got the email from my rep over at BNTCA and got word of what is generated with shipping and stuff like that. And the good news is a ton of great stuff on the way. The Witch from Mercury kits, Ariel, Ilfrith, something Delanza, the Soletta Figure Eyes standard kit is coming. The bad news, though, that comes with that is trying to figure out what order things will ship in. The shipment that they generated it on is larger than we can receive at one time, so I've got no control over how they split that up. If we need it split up, I'm going to be talking to them tomorrow, or I guess today, the day that you're seeing this, Friday, and hopefully we'll have some sort of we'll work out something with them. So we'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully next week we'll have good news about firm dates when things might arrive. We were able to update the numbers on the website for that. I think we put a limited quantity up when we posted it initially due to the unconfirmed confirmations that we had at the time. And with the confirmed confirmations, we have a lot more coming for sure. So we did bump those numbers up. So if you missed them, you can lock one of those in. And the other one I want to talk about before I get to the regular pre-orders is we're going to make our first attempt at a mystery box. And so the mystery box is going to be $50, but as a special one-time initial promotion, we're going to take $5 off that. We're going to take $5 off that for that first one. What will likely happen if we continue this in the future is it'll be $50 if you decide to buy one box, or if you buy 3 or 6 or whatever that extended quantity is of them for the next X number of months, and kind of subscribe for a period, you'll get it at that $45 price. So the additional savings if you subscribe to multiple boxes. In that box will be a kit or two, maybe some accessory packs, possibly other stuff too. I don't want to give away what's in it. Each box will have its own theme though, so you'll know ahead of time kind of what to expect when it comes down to buying that box. The theme for the January box is going to be firepower, so you can keep in mind what that might mean in terms of what you might expect in a box like that. I don't think anybody's opposed to large guns, missiles, etc. when they're talking about mecha stuff. That box will ship January 3rd or later, sometime early January. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. So let's jump in and talk about the pre-orders. Okay, pre-orders. We added 7 new pre-orders on Tuesday from Volks. We had 2 different blockers, Fiore Dracana and Nebula. One's the limited edition with face and clear parts, and then the regular version as well. I think, you know, without going too far into it, the limited edition has some extra clear parts and face parts. I don't know all the details on that, but if you're into that stuff, you probably are already aware. You can check that out in the product listing. We also put up the Nyandem Principality of Zeons. These are the little cats, themed like characters from the Zeon. I think there's, you know, a Char cat and a Rambaral cat, etc. And it looks like there might be a Zaku and a Haro cat. So those are kind of cute little novelty. We decided with the Zeon set to only do the full set rather than the blind packs of the individuals, based on the interest that we saw when we would post that in order research. Next up, we got a few figure arts. We don't usually carry much in the way of figures, but we've got, I think, 3 figure arts items with this pre-order. There's the mini Cioletta, there's the mini Miorin Rembrandt, and the full-scale figure arts Cioletta. So if you've been into Witch for Mercury, that new series that just came out, and like those characters, this would be a good time to get those figures. We didn't get a ton of them because they're not something that we're really focused on stocking. So if you want one, grabbing it as a pre-order is a good idea. I think we've marked a larger percentage than normal for figures, especially these figures, for pre-order. So there won't be very many left after they come in. So pre-order is definitely the way to go. And then finally from Kotobukiya, Frame Arms Girl Magatsuki Houten. So it's another Frame Arms Girl, you know, mecha girl, big bow. Pretty cool accessories on that one. And I think that's it for pre-orders. So let's do restocks. Restocks is going to be probably the shortest restock section. We've had it in a while. No restocks this week, actually. We've got that big shipment on the way, and I think that's a lot of stuff's kind of been aggregated into that shipment, so we've been waiting for that to go before they start sending some other stuff, or at least get that in process. So no restocks this week. It is worth looking over at the early bird section, though. We do have still a bunch of early birds from that big section, so it's basically pre-ordering these items that are on the way. There's 12 items up on early bird, including the PG Unicorn, MG Aegis, MG Dual Gundam Assault Shroud, MG Gyan, MG Destiny Extreme Blast Mode, MG Gun Tank, MG Crossbone, X1 Verka, MG Astray Blue Frame Second Revise, MG Sword Impulse Gundam, MG Force Impulse Gundam. We also got the HG G vs. Penelope Funnel Missile Effect Set and the HG Gundam GPO-2A Physalis. So those 12 kits are available for basically a pre-order of the early bird. So the second they come in, late December, early January, they'll be able to ship. And so if you're chomping the bit for any of those, it'd be a good chance to lock those in before they arrive. So since there's no restocks, really that's it for restocks. Let's move on to Q&A. So this is the part of the video where I answer questions from you, the viewer. If you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it next week. First up, ADRN. This might be a rare niche question, but any plans for a HG Mazinger Z Infinity kit? I believe it was said, G-Wit should be next in queue for shipment. Do you anticipate arriving before the holidays? Love the work you guys put in. So first part of that, the Mazinger Z Infinity, I think that's the new one that was announced. I think we did order some. I don't know what we get for confirmations until we get the confirmations. So I don't know if they're coming, but we did try to get some. As for the Witch, we got the Booger Boo, the Burger Boy, whatever you want to call it, that came in last week. The other ones, I'll have a better idea when if they're in queue to ship today, like I mentioned earlier in the video. If they are about to ship, the odds of them arriving before Christmas are fairly low at this point, considering Christmas is just over a week away, a week and a half maybe. There's only like another week's worth of business days, so it would have to be able to pack and get out the door basically today to have a chance at arriving before Christmas. Before the end of the year, there is a possibility though, and I'm fingers crossed, hoping that that's the timing, how that works out. Okay, thanks for the question. Next up, plastic germs. Question, what would you recommend to others on how to maintain their hobby tools? It's a good question, but the answer is not going to be that good. There's not really that much I do to maintain my tools. You know, dust stuff off, try to make sure you don't have junk caught in there, and definitely don't let them get wet or leave them wet. I don't do anything like oil my nippers. I'm also not in a super humid environment here. My home is got central AC, so we don't deal with humidity much during the winter, or during the summer rather. So that's really not an issue. If I lived in a really humid environment, maybe you live down south and don't have AC or something, and you had the humidity indoors, oiling, it might make sense. And otherwise, just not doing bad things to them for the most part. Fun question: burgers or burritos? This is a really tough question because they're both great in their own right. I probably eat far more burgers than burritos, typically, but I can go either way. I guess I'll go burgers because that's what I do with my actions. Okay, next up, 808 Johnster, aloha Nick. I saw in the Discord that you'll be adding guide notes to your log of paint lines you sell at the shop. Since I can't necessarily get them shipped overseas, I was wondering if you'd add more acrylic options such as AK. So we do have Gaia coming. I think it's supposed to be shipping sometime in December. I don't know when exactly it will be, but it should be here hopefully relatively soon. As far as acrylic options, we're definitely looking at other paint lines. I don't know a whole lot about what's available for paint lines. I know that I've been hesitant to stock AK due to some stuff that happened a couple years ago with AK. If you know, you kind of know. I'm not sure. I haven't really researched it since then, but I was definitely not comfortable doing business with AK when those things happened back in 2020 that they got involved in, and not knowing what they've done in the meantime, if they've really made it right or whatever, is kind of hard. So I'm sure there are other acrylic lines though that we will look into at some point. We do carry Vallejo Mecca. We do have plans to try to carry more of the Vallejo lines at some point. And I'm not sure what else is available for options for acrylics, but we'll definitely be looking into that at some point. Okay, next up, Carlos Moreno. Would you consider carrying Dragon Ball Z statues made from Bandai? I'd definitely place more orders. That's a great question. Overall, we've been trying to back off from where we're at on figures, and we've been not doing a lot of figures in general because they just don't perform super well for us. Our customer base doesn't seem to want figures for the most part. If you're into model kits, you're not necessarily into figures. There is some crossover, but it's not huge. And if the figures related to Gundam, which most of our customers are Gundam fanatics, don't want Gundam figures, then Dragon Ball Z figures probably would do even worse, considering the Dragon Ball Z kits don't do very well for us in general by comparison to the Gundam stuff. So at some point we probably will, because I anticipate trying to expand into that area, but today it's not really a priority, if that makes sense. Next up, HH15. When will you usually get confirmations from Bandai for the upcoming inventory? So I'm assuming you're referring to confirmations for our last order, aka the order for Q1 2023, January through March items. We were told we'd get confirmation sometime in December, which I kind of interpret to mean late December, so sometime over the next 2 weeks. That said, they've been not very on time in the past, so realistically I almost don't expect it till February based on past performance. Everything could change compared to last time. I'm hoping it does and that they've got that more under control than they've had in the past, but it's hard to say for sure. And then final question, Kihelheim, hope I'm pronouncing that right. What's up, Team Mecha? Any word on the MGE Extract Freedom? I'm seeing everyone on social media with theirs. #anxious. Thanks, team. So we haven't gotten any more word on it. If you're seeing people with them, though, I'm pretty sure they're coming outside the normal supply chain, because I don't think I've seen any U.S. shops that go through BNTCA, aka the big official distributor in the U.S. I don't think they've received them and shipped them out yet. So there are shops that go gray market and get things via distributors straight from Japan. Those distributors aren't supposed to be able to operate that way, but there definitely are some that still do. And if you see someone in the US with the kit early, it's usually coming through one of those channels. So considering it was a November release, I wouldn't be surprised if they start shipping to US stores in the next few weeks, or it could be another month. It really depends on what delays there are in the supply chain and how things are going at the BNTC warehouse. And I think that's it for questions. So if you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments. I'll try to answer it next week. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.